Moving on, the United Nations Security Council meeting yesterday to discuss its biannual report on the controversial Iran nuclear deal. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres calling on the U.S. to remove its sanctions on Iran in order to sway the Islamic Republic to rejoin the agreement. But how willing is the United States to agree to this recommendation, and how do these developments affect Israel? Joining us with insights is ILTV's Asaf Nissan. So, Asaf, thank you so much for being with us again. Now, are we about to see the end of sanctions on Iran?
No. In my opinion, we're still going to see sanctions on the table, still going on until the Biden administration decides to let go. Despite the request from UN Secretary General Guterres, we're still not going to see any restrictions being lifted.
So wouldn't that endanger the re-signing of the deal in its entirety?
I mean, it would, and there were sources that were coming out saying that the U.S. is willing to lift some of the sanctions in order to ease the decision on Iran, but the U.S. so far has stood on its back heels and decided not to go for it.
All right, now we've been seeing reports as well from the UN Security Council having met yesterday regarding Iran and the United States. What was the outcome of those discussions?
The outcome itself was pretty much the same. Both sides are standing on their backs and not willing to go any side towards the other, any situation towards the other. The U.S. is still on its back heels saying we're not going to lift the sanctions. Iran is still fighting for the fact they want to lift the sanctions. And in between the mix, you see the different states as the European Union, Russia. You see all of them still trying to play a role in the Vienna talks. But so far, it doesn't look like any success.
Not budging either way. All right, well, so Iran, in addition to sanctions being one of their top issues, they've also apparently now conditioned the deal, among other things, on the United States promising never to back out again. Is that something that we're likely to see? Does the White House really have any objection to this?
I presume not, but you can never know. I mean, then again, when Obama signed the JCPOA in 2015, no one would expect Donald Trump in 2018 to resign from it. So you cannot hold the U.S. 100% accountable on that. Because then again, someone like Trump, someone like Nikki Haley, someone more on the conservative side and against Iran would not want to stay on the table.
All right, well, I think we could probably hope that if such a line item would be added to the deal, at least it would have maybe some extenuating circumstances.
It would have to.
That would provide for the possibility to leave, if Iran broke the deal for some reason. Moving on to Israel, we see that Prime Minister Naftali Bennett has been criticized pretty consistently by the opposition about his Iran policy. What is so different about his policy as opposed to that of the Netanyahu administration?
There's no difference. Honestly, there's no difference, and the only reason you see this is a lot of fights, and it's a lot of ego fights from the opposition, still going with their same threat that will topple the government, and the new government is not doing a good job, and it's not going to uphold the same laws and principles that we held up.
So what are we seeing from, for example, Foreign Minister Lapid having met with Secretary of State Blinken?
I mean, when Lapid met with Secretary of State Blinken, he said it, that we're not going to budge, we're not changing our position. The only thing they're looking for is just a quieter way to do things under the radar, not like Netanyahu when he went back in 2015 to the House of Representatives and literally started fighting there wide openly, the Obama administration, telling them, I don't agree with the deal. They're trying to do it in a more subtle way, in a more substantial way that would make better results.
All right, Asaf Nissan, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.